Originating from India and Malaysia, mango is a common tropical fruit. It is oval in shape, sometimes round and light yellow in color. Mango is rich in protein, vitamins, minerals and other nutrients. It has efficacy of antioxidation, which can lower the risk of cancer, prevent cardiovascular diseases as well as resolve calmness. Mango pulps taste sweet. They can be eaten directly or made into dried fruits. Usually, mangoes are processed into mango juice, brewed wine, mango vinegar, dried and canned mango. Today on Value Addition, we're going to show you how to process mango juice and dried mango flakes. This is Migwani Food Processing Plant in Kitui County. The factory was formed back in 2017 against the backdrop of farmers who had been encouraged to plant indigenous, drought-tolerant mango trees by the county government of Kitui. Joseph Marty is the factory manager of Migwani Food Processing Plant. He tells us the factory's history.
This factory is called Migwani Food Processing Plant. It is the trading arm of a CBO called Rice Kenya. Rice Kenya started back in 2004 with a view to mitigating a lot of issues affecting the community, of which one of them was perennial drought and poor harvests and poverty. So it started by educating people on how we can mitigate the climate change effects, of which it's like the poverty, crop failure, and by teaching them on alternative crops that may be used to actually mitigate those effects. After teaching them, we introduced planting of mangoes, or rather fruit trees, because even if there is a seasonal failure of rains, the fruit trees that are mature will not fail. So that is how Rice Kenya was came up. We've been planting mangoes and trees throughout the Mwingi West sub-county, in this area of Migwani, Zeroni and Zaoni. That is generally in the Mwingi West sub-county. After we had planted those trees, then the farmers, after the trees started producing, the farmers wanted to know where to market. Basically, we wanted most of the fruits, at least each family to plant at least 5 mango trees so that they can, first of all, have a fruit at home before we could venture into the marketing. So we also had taught them how to plant other cash generating crops. After we started harvesting the mangoes, then the farmers wanted to know where to take the excess ones. And because we had so many middlemen and brokers that wanted to take advantage of the same farmers and give them very little value for the same mangoes, we came up with an alternative, which is starting a factory for the processing of the same mangoes, basically to add value to those mangoes. That is how Migwani Food Processing came up about. At the moment, we are dealing with our own members. They have not yet formed a circle, but when we started planting mangoes back in 2004, we started by registering those who wanted to plant. Then we also gave them seedlings. And along the way, other people still joined, and membership has been open. It is still open. At the moment, we are operating with farmers grouped into clusters. We have 5 clusters of 200 members each within this zone, and each cluster has its own officials and its own office. So whenever we want anything in this factory, we normally consult those respective offices.
Joseph explains that it was out of the surplus produce that the farmers harvested that pushed the county officials in Kitui County to come up with the mango manufacturing plant.
We managed to process about 1.5 tons of mangoes from the farmers. But the mangoes produced within the area is more than 100 tons. So we just took so little. And then the mangoes themselves were not of the best quality. So we also started engaging the farmers on how to produce better quality fruit so that they do not go to waste. And that is what Rice Kenya has been doing in order to assist the farmers. As I had said earlier, Rice Kenya is the mother of Migwani food processors.
During the off-season, Joseph reveals that his factory produces more than 200 kilograms of mango fruits, which produces close to 80% of mango concentrate.
It depends on the availability of the mangoes during the off-season. That is when they are just starting to ripen, we may produce about 200 kilograms of mangoes, and they will normally give 80% mango concentrate. This is the mango concentrate. To produce 4 kilograms of mango concentrate, you'll need 10 kilograms of ripe mangoes. Yeah, so if we get about 200 kgs of ripe mangoes, we produce 80 kilograms of concentrate. It varies between 40 and 45%, depending on the type of the mango and the ripeness of the mango. Some of the mangoes have more juice than others. Some have a bigger stone for seed. That means that it will be maybe the seed takes about the 50% of the mango, and then the pulp plus the rind takes the other 50%. Yeah, the rind takes 10%, the pulp will take 40%, and the seed 50%.
Before Joseph took us through mango juice processing, he first gave us lessons on understanding the mango fruit and how best to grow them.
We know that mangoes are prone to attacks from insects, so that when you bring this mango to the factory, you find it is already infected, or it has already been boiled by a certain kind of insect. There are those that enter into the mango at the flowering stage, so that when you split this mango, you find there is a beetle that comes out of the mango. That one enters during the flowering stage. So the farmer needs to spray that mango at the flowering stage, so that we prevent that beetle from entering into that mango. Then there is also the mango rust. This one is clean, but there are some mangoes that look as though they have rust. That rust is also due to mites that come and affect the flower. They are very, very tiny mites that enter during the flowering stage and take the water from the mango. They actually drink a lot of water from the fruit, so that the fruit does not have enough water. It develops some scales that looks like rust. We need to spray that one before the flower turns into a fruit. Then there is the stage where at this stage now the mango doesn't need any spray. But there is, during its maturing period, there is a fruit fly that comes to deliver its eggs or to produce, and it boils into the mango, bears its eggs there, and by the time the mango starts ripening, the eggs of that fruit fly have already hatched, and so they form some tiny worms, so that when you get the mango, you find it got infected by worms. That is the mango fruit fly. Now that one doesn't need to be sprayed. The farmer needs to get some traps for the fruit fly. They are hormone based, so that when the fly comes to look for the mango, it will be attracted by the hormone into that trap, and it will die there, so the mangoes will remain safe. Reason why we don't advise for spraying of mangoes at this stage is because there are chemical traces that may be left in the mangoes, and they may be consumed by the consumer. Then the consumer may be affected by those chemicals. At the same time, if we want to take it to the foreign market, they will be subjected to stringent measures at the export zone. And if the excess chemicals are found, or the excess sprays found in the traces are found in the mango, that batch will be rejected, and maybe the export market for our mangoes be closed due to the quality.
Migwani Food Processor is just a startup factory, as Joseph, the factory's manager, explains. Thus, they are currently producing very little juice.
We have not developed enough capacity for a large market, but we have a vision of enlarging that market, the capacity and the market, so that in the next 5 years, we need to take all the mangoes around.
Joseph further explains that once the fruits are brought to the factory, they are first weighed and checked if they are of quality standards.
In Ukambani, like any other part in the world, we have different resources for every different region, and the resources are there. If we open our eyes properly, we'll be able to see what we are endowed with and use that properly. One of them is this example of mangoes. The best mangoes in the country come from Kitui because they are sun ripened. So we have to produce some good quality for our farm, for our consumers. We check for, first of all, injury of the mango. If it has been affected by the fruit fly, you'll find some injuries. We also look for the regularity of the ripeness. If the ripeness is only on one side, you already know that that side has been infected, because the other, it has been quicker to ripen, induced to ripen by an injury to it. So that one will be a reject. Yeah. Sometimes we receive both ripe and unripe, as long as they are mature enough and they can ripen within the next 4 days, then we receive all those mangoes. You also notice that it is not only juice we manufacture, we also make some mango crisps or mango flakes. And we use the unripe mangoes, those which are mature and are about to ripen, but are not yet succulent or soft. Then we slice them and also produce we also make the mango flakes. Now, after we receive the mangoes, we bring them we sort them, then we weigh them, then we bring them and wash them.
Once the mangoes pass the quality test, they are then thoroughly washed to remove any chemical that may have remained on the fruits during fertilizer or pesticide application.
We have to wash the mangoes with food grade detergent, because this is food, and we have to wash them properly so that we clean them. We wash them with a food grade detergent, then we rinse them twice, so that to ensure that they are clean.
After washing, the mangoes are then taken to the slicing table. Joseph explains that they normally slice their mangoes manually.
After that, we bring the mangoes to the slicing table. We slice them manually. Yeah. Before this table has to be, first of all, cleaned and sanitized. We use this sanitizer to sanitize the table, so that if there is any bacteria, we actually kill the bacteria and make sure the handling surface is clean, so that we do not introduce any bacteria into the mangoes. A ripe mango, and it is for the juice. We just slice this side and this other side, and then scoop the flesh out of this peel. Then we put it in a bucket. Then when the bucket is filled, then we transfer that flesh of the mangoes into the pulping machine. Then we just switch on the machine. It has got a motor. We switch it on and the pulp comes out. Yeah. Now this is the pulping machine, and it is a grinding or a pulping unit in this place, and it has got a sieve in this place to show you. Got a sieve, and then there is a motor, and there is a brush inside the sieve. Now, once you have put the fruit pulp or the flesh of the fruit in this container, you switch on the machine, and the machine grinds the flesh of the mangoes into pulp. Then as it flesh, because it has a spiral way of transferring that fruit, that pulp into this section that looks like a tube, but with a brush and this sieve. The brush will just continue pushing the pulp through this sieve, and the mango juice or the concentrate will drop through here, and it will fall into a container in this place here. Any kind of solid waste material that has not been that is not included in the juice, and any fiber will not go through here because it not gone through the sieve. It will just come out through this tube and fall into another waiting container. So you'll find juice in this section and the waste in this other area.
The mango juice is normally collected manually from the pulping machine, after which it is sieved to remove bubbles. The juice is then pasteurized to prolong its shelf life.
We take it, we go and pasteurize it. Pasteurization means warming it in temperatures between 60 degrees centigrade and 90, so that we can kill or eliminate most of the bacteria that may bring about fermentation. Before we finish with the pasteurization process, we add some preservative, which is a sodium benzoate, so that if there is any bacteria remaining, the benzoate will prevent the bacteria from multiplying. So that juice, that is concentrate now, if it is handled properly during production or packaging, If you put it in this bottle and seal it properly, it will last for 2 years without going bad.
The juice is normally stored in 5 kg bottles. The empty bottles are first sterilized before the process of packing the juice concentrate begins.
During the packaging of the concentrate in these bottles, first of all, we have to sterilize this bottle using hot water. We boil water and dip the bottles in the water and actually rinse them using very, very hot water, actually boil the water. Then we also package, or we do bottle using this room where we will have closed all doors so that there is no strong winds bringing in and introducing more bacteria from the air.
After packaging of the concentrate is done, the next process is to dilute the concentrate into ready-to-drink juice.
After we have packaged this and stored and finished with the concentrate, we keep our concentrate and then we start the process of diluting the concentrate into ready-to-drink final juice. We normally do produce the ready-to-drink juice on order so that we do not have stock that is not necessary in the factory in the first place. So we look for orders, and once we got an order, we come and dilute that concentrate into the order we want, into the amount we wanted. 5 kilograms of this concentrate. We normally produce 75 bottles of 300 mils, all 50 bottles of 500 mils of ready-to-drink juice. This is ready to drink, and this one is the concentrate. We mix at a ratio of 1:4. This, in order to achieve this ready to drink, we dilute this one using a ratio of 1:4 water. That means 4 of these and 1 of these. So the total is 5 bottles of 300 mils for this one and 1 300 mils. To achieve this, you need to be very careful in handling of the same, because it is still food produced for the market, and the primary care is supposed to go to the consumer, because we need our consumers and we don't need them with ailing stomachs. So we have to take care of our consumers.
Apart from mixing the concentrate with water, other additives are added to give the juice a deep color and taste.
When we want to dilute, we boil the water, then we add some sugar. We also add some mango emulsion, which is a food color and flavor. Then we add a thickener called CMC. It is a cellulite-based solution, so that it gels the mango together and thickens it. We also add preservative, which is the same sodium benzoate, but at a lower percentage than the one we had added to the concentrate, so that we do not have too much sodium benzoate that may affect the health of our consumers. So we add a little, then we add another little. Actually, it's supposed to be 0.25% potassium sorbate, but sparingly. And Then the final chemical we add there is citric acid. We add a little citric acid so that it can maintain both the color and the flavor.
The diluted juices are then packaged into a 350 ml bottle and 1 liter bottles, weighed and branded.
Bottling is manually doesn't require a lot of technology, just precision. When you are putting it in this bottle, it's not supposed to touch the lips of the bottle, or it's not supposed to spill over. So you just be very careful. The bottle is already sanitized and sterilized, so it is germ-free.
After the break, we will show you how to process mango flakes.